I wish we had recorded that. We're thankful that you're here today. I want you to turn in your Bibles this morning to have one who would like to read along with us. 1 John chapter 2. We'll take a couple of verses out of chapter 2 and a couple out of chapter 3, and then we got a place over in the Old Testament if the Lord brings it back to our memory. 1 John chapter 2 and chapter 3. Any of you young people, especially the one looking out the window, turn around and tell me what I announced to y'all last Sunday. You don't remember. I have recruited Betty Moore, if need be, to come up and sit with y'all.
Oh, y'all don't want that.
So that you might be quiet and behave. She will be your leading, shining example of how to do it, if need be. So we want you to listen. We love you, but you won't gain anything at this place unless you listen. You've got to listen. We're thankful to the Lord to be here today.
Amen.
It's a different, seems like this week has been a different kind of week. Everywhere, not just among church people, but everywhere. It's been a lot going on, and God's brought us through it, and He's got us till today. And since we have that, and we don't have a promise of tomorrow, I think we ought to make the most out of today.
Amen.
Just get what you can get out of it. It might be your last one. So, if you feel like it, stand with us as we read you a few verses. And I don't have any notes today, so I do desire your prayers. I've known since Tuesday, I believe it's Tuesday, I told Jimmy that the Lord had put something on my mind. Well, this is it. And how many agree that on Tuesday, you or no one else knew you'd be here today?
That's right.
Nobody knew.
Yep.
Except God. If He knows everything, if He can see everything, then He knows.
Yeah.
And so we're here by His grace. And this is what I believe He has chosen for this service. 1 John chapter 2 verse 28, he says, Now little children, abide in Him, that when He shall appear, you may have confidence and not be ashamed before Him at His coming. If you know that He is righteous, you know that everyone that doeth righteousness is born of Him. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God.
Amen.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Given your past and given who you are in the eyes of other people or was, that you should be called the Son of God. That's pretty amazing. And he says, Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew Him not. Beloved, listen to verse 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when He shall appear, we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is.
Amen.
That's right.
And this is the thing that came into my mind Tuesday, you can only see people, Carolyn, as they are. I don't care what you want to see. All you can see is what it is. Now, the thing that you can be seated if you want to. The thing that I want you to take into account today and keep in your mind, somewhere in it, the back of it or somewhere, your judgment will probably be made based on the here and now, based on current events, based on what's going on. And that's usually where we miss things so bad. I got an Easter poem in here that I stuck in here a long time ago, and I don't even have the date on here when I wrote it, but some of y'all, I know you got copies of it. But this poem came back into my mind this morning as a way to show you or to use as an example of what I'm trying to talk to you about today. About the thief on the cross. Some of you may not have heard this story, so maybe it'll bless you. My story may not sound like much compared to some you've heard. I never saw His miracles or listened to His word. Some would say I don't belong in the kingdom of the saved. In fact, I just met Jesus a few hours from my grave. On the day of my conviction, I knew I'd have to pay for my sins with my life in just a few more days. There was no appeals court, nobody to turn to. Soon I would be crucified. Soon I'd pay my dues. As they led us to the hill, I couldn't believe my eyes. Why so many people had gathered just to watch two people die. I knew that I was guilty, and the other man was too. But then,
bless Him, Lord.
They brought a third man out, and my heart just broke in two. He was badly beaten. At times he couldn't stand. His flesh was torn, a crown of thorns. Why would they do this to this man? From where I was hanging, I could just barely see the superscription over the head of the man beside of me. I knew he wasn't guilty, but for jealousy or fear, the Pharisees would kill him. It soon was very clear. I thought about that title, the King of the Jews, and in my heart I realized that it must be true.
Yeah.
I confessed that I was guilty and asked, Lord, remember me. He promised me paradise throughout eternity.
Amen.
Amen.
So if you've never known the Lord and you know that you have sinned, if you'll just believe in Him, He'll save your soul, my friend. You see, it's not about what you deserve. It's about who Jesus is. And even a thief like me, He'll save and make me want to hear.
Right.
And if He do it for anybody, if He do it for me, He'd do it for anybody.
That's right.
But I read you that story so that you might have a picture or see Jesus as He was when He gave everything He had for your sin.
Yeah, amen.
Come on.
That was all He had. John said, little children, he said two things. For one thing, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us that we should be called the sons of God.
That's true. Amen.
I'm amazed at that because I know me.
Yeah. Right.
And you're probably amazed at it too because you know you better than anybody else except God. But he goes on. He says, it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when He shall appear, and the Bible's plain that He's coming back, we know that when He shall appear, that we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is.
Yeah.
This poem I wrote a few years ago was somebody seeing Him as He was. On the day of His crucifixion, in my mind, Brother Steve, that's what they saw. They saw somebody that was beaten nearly to death, and he had a crown of thorns on his head. He's dragging a cross heavier than he could carry. Had to get somebody to help him carry it. They drove nails in his hands and feet and hung him up there. They pierced his side with a sword. They mocked him. They scorned him. They scourged him. They done everything they could, Brother Jim. And that's what people saw on that day. But I will tell you, there's coming a different day. Amen. Today is a different day. Amen. They will never. Listen, he was an innocent lamb that was led to the slaughter. He didn't do anything wrong. He paid for what other people done wrong. He didn't fight. He said that he could have called 10,000 angels. He could have called, or 10 legions of angels if he wanted to. But he didn't. Because somebody was going to have to pay for somebody's sin.
Yeah.
And the ones that was guilty couldn't do it.
Yes, sir.
Anybody ever done anything for you because you couldn't do it? I hope you appreciate it. But you know, it's not that way with Jesus. The world knows He died for us. They don't like Him. In fact, a lot of them today hate Him. They mock Him. They do everything. But I was Tuesday. What I was really interested in thinking in was, we think a lot of times when we wonder, what's going to happen when we deprive the world of our company? What's going to happen after that? When we've taken that last breath and give up the ghost, as they say. Some people, Brother Jimmy, believe we become, I don't know, a smorgasbord for worms or something. Some believe nothing. Nothing happens. It's the end of it. Agnostics, they don't believe in nothing. They just, Sister Phyllis, you just live your life and it's over and that's it. It's done. Ain't nothing after it. But some do believe that there's something. Something's going to happen after this one. When this is over, something's going to happen. We came from somewhere, so we're probably going somewhere when we leave here. We don't know. And he says here that it doth not yet appear what we shall be. There's one thing that he told the early New Testament church Christians here from verse 28 down to verse 2 here. There's one thing that we should absolutely know about and should absolutely not have an appearance in us when Christ comes back. He said here, and now little children, abide with Him, that when He shall appear, you may have confidence and not be ashamed.
Amen. Right.
Every one of us have lived, some people longer than others, with a lot of shame in our life. We've been ashamed of some stuff. Cheryl used to be my number one witness in this church about what a heathen was. She knew a lot. If she brought somebody with her, that's a greater witness than her. So if they ask you anything, just don't tell them nothing. But some of us knew each other when we were serving Satan. He said, what manner of man? Or, behold, what manner of love? Imagine a father that would love you in spite of who you were. Would love you whether you love him back. Would love you whether you listen to a word. Would love you when you wasn't listening to a word. Would love you when you did everything, Jim, for his enemy. And nothing for him.
Right.
Would love you when you talked to everybody else but him. Would love you when you celebrate